Hello, it's Gordon here. Hope all is well with you. This Facebook Live I've called, what's your biggest priority goal for the second half of 2019? A little quote image I did today, which I've posted in the group, and I'll post below this video once I finish the video. And as I'm recording this, it is the 30th of June 2019. So the first half of the year is coming to an end. We've only got half of the year left. But let's spin that right round and say, well, instead of saying we've only got half of the year left, we could say we've still got a full half of the year left. Now, a lot of people, when they think of goal setting, they think of January the 1st, New Year resolutions, not July the 1st and the second half of the year. New Year resolutions, and I've spoken and written many times about the problems that I have with New Year resolutions. Now sometimes New Year resolutions can work wonders. They can really make a difference in people's lives, and in which case, great. But a lot of times people treat New Year resolutions in that jokey, oh, I'm going to fail, I don't really mean it, I don't really believe it type way. And then they joke about them failing within a few days or a week or a fortnight, which may seem amusing at the time, but it's actually quite damaging, because it sets your thought process up to say that the whole concept of self-improvement and goal achievement is nonsense. So that's my biggest problem with New Year resolutions. But when it comes to goal setting, that's a different kettle of fish. And if we use today, the 30th of June, that's the end of the first half of 2019. Tomorrow, 1st of July, beginning of the second half of 2019. What a fantastic staging post to look at goal setting and our goals. So I ask the question again, what is your biggest priority goal for the second half of 2019? You might be able to tell me. You might be able to tell me straight away, this is my biggest priority goal, this is what I'm doing about it, this is what the end result is, this is the plan, etc, etc, etc. It's also possible that you can't tell me. You might say, well, I don't really have goals, I don't do goal setting. Well, actually, you do. You might not think that you do it in a conscious way, but you absolutely, most definitely, certainly do. In any or all of the 5 key areas of life, as I like to call them, health, wealth, career, relationships and lifestyle, you will have things in the second half of 2019 in any or all of those areas that you know you want to do, you're looking forward to doing, you're taking action already to set in place, or you have to do it even though you don't want to. Now, all of those are goals. And the whole point about me asking what your biggest priority goal is because if you think, well, I don't really set goals, or you just bumble along doing things as and when you have to and being buffeted by life circumstance, if you bring intention to the process, to the goal achievement process, you're going to make big progress and big changes quicker. Dare I say it, in a transformational way. So if you have a think about those 5 key areas, health, wealth, career, relationships or lifestyle. Now you might say some of those areas overlap. Yeah, they might do. It's a structure, it's a framework to work from. It doesn't actually matter if they overlap. That's not the key issue. But if you think of any of those key areas or all of them, what is the biggest thing that you want to achieve in the second half of 2019, or the biggest thing that you have to achieve? Hello, Carolyn. Carolyn's watching. How are you? Loved that pause, Gordon. Oh, I like a pregnant pause. Buffeted, or did you mean phrase? Buffeted by the circumstance of life. That is one of my favourite phrases, actually, because it it's easy to people understand what it means. It's quite sort of, what's the word? Is it an analogy? Yes, that's the word. Anyway, the biggest priority, because you might think, well, yeah, I've got to do this in health. I want to do that in health. I've got to do that in lifestyle and family. Relationship-wise, I should be doing that. Well, out of all of your goals, which one is the biggest priority? Which one? You might say, I've got 2 or 3 or 4. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Health, wealth, career, relationships, lifestyle. Yes, those 5 key areas of life. And I use that repeatedly because it's simple to understand. I can get it all on one hand. And even if there is an overlap, it doesn't matter, because any goal that anyone has could be placed into one of those categories, and then we can work from there. So if you say, I've got 2 or 3 big major goals for the second half of 2019, great. I'll ask again, which one is the biggest priority? Which one needs the most work? And for that biggest priority, the next question is, once you've answered what it is, the next question is, why is it your biggest priority goal? Why do you want it? Is it something you don't really want, but something you have to do because of responsibility? Or is it something you want? Could you hear an ice cream van in the background? I'll tell you what my priority might be, an ice cream. But I can't have an ice cream from the ice cream van because I'm doing a Facebook Live. Right. What was I saying about the biggest priority? Yes. What is the biggest priority? Why is it your biggest priority? Why haven't you already got it? Why hasn't it already happened, in other words? What haven't you done? So to get to the current circumstance where you haven't got it. What would be the plan for you to get there? And then what would be the very next step? You might think there's quite a lot of questions there, and okay, there's 5 questions there in any or all of the 5 key areas. That's why I call it my 5x5 question matrix. Because if you go through it, and to be honest, you could do the quick version in 5 minutes if you wanted to, but if you sat down with a pen and paper and looked at those key areas of life and looked at your goals and actually wrote them down, and then came to the biggest priority, and then came to the next step that you could take. Wow. Can you see the power? Can you see the power if you then take that step? That you are launching into the second half of 2019, because we've still got a full half of the year left. If you go through that process and take action, you could even do it today on the 30th of June or the 1st of July, or maybe plan it as soon as possible. And by planning it, I don't just mean, oh yeah, I'm going to do that at some point. I'm going to do that when this is right. I'm going to do that when this is right. Actually commit to when you're going to do it. You can do that on the same sheet of paper. If you commit to taking action, you can see that you are speeding up your progress. You're speeding up the change in your life, and you're speeding up the transformation in your life. And it's important. And you know it's important because you're doing it for the biggest priority goal. It could be that you go through the process and you think, yeah, this is my biggest priority goal. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do. This is my action step. And then you think, hang on, a light bulb goes on. That during that process you think, actually, maybe that isn't my biggest priority goal. Maybe that is a luxury, and actually this is my biggest priority goal. So there's a double-headed power in it. the power of speeding up your change and your transformation, but also the power of writing it down on a bit of paper with a pen rather than doing it on a screen. The power comes in actually working out what your biggest priority goal actually is. And the reason I like to do these things with old school pen and paper is because even when you're doing it on a screen, doing it on a screen is great, by the way. That is way better than just doing it in your head. Because if you do it in your head, the thoughts tend to become concepts and tend to become generalized ideas. And what that can be is it can be a bit wishy-washy and a bit cloudy and a bit up there somewhere. But if you're physically typing it out into a screen, it forces your brain to direct, easy for me to say, it forces your brain to direct this wishy-washy stuff up here into actual words and actual thoughts and actual sentences. So it solidifies it and it firms it up and it makes it more real. And then when it comes to making it real, to make it more real, do it with a pen and a bit of paper. Because then your brain is having to go through that firming up process again by actually making your hand move and writing words, old school, writing words on a bit of paper. It is massively powerful. And a lot of people who dismiss that, I would say to them, well, when was the last time you actually did it? When was the last time you actually had a pen and a bit of paper and wrote down your goals? Darlene is watching. Good morning. Hello, good morning to you too. What is the time now? It's getting on for it's got to be 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. Yes, massive power in going through this process, writing out your goals in those key areas of life: health, wealth, career, relationship, lifestyle. Looking at the second half of 2019, working out what your biggest priority goal is and what you're going to do about it. It's a fascinating process. It's something that I talk about a lot because it is a key cornerstone of my Transforming Life Now message. Because if you're going to make transformation in any or all of those key areas, Darlene's going to watch the replay to catch the beginning. Yes, not a bad idea. Dare I say it, it's worth it. And I'm going to wrap up in a minute anyway. What was I saying about the 5 key areas of life? You can't make change or transformation, or you're going to make a much better and directed change and transformation if you first become aware of what you want, why you want it, and where you are now, and then start measuring your progress. And that needs the awareness, where you are here, where you want to be, and measuring your progress towards it. And then that measuring process brings the action steps into play. That's why I talk about it a lot, because the change that you can bring to all of those areas of your life, transformational, oh yes. So there we go. Hope you like that message as we finish up the first half of 2019. Gone already. And as we launch ourselves into the second half of 2019, a full 50% of the year still left. Think of what we can get done in that time. Okay, wishing you as ever health and happiness, and I'll speak to you again soon.